You are listening to Hilary Topper on Air, the small business podcast to help you grow both personally and professionally. And now, here's your host, Hilary Topper.
The Me Too movement gained a lot of momentum working to protect women from harassment in the workplace. But now some women are left wondering, what about the kids? With more than 21.7 million reports of inappropriate incidents on well-known platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, and even Instagram reported to the cyber tip line during the pandemic alone, what can we do to protect our children? I'm Hilary Topper, and this is Hilary Topper on Air. I am so glad to be speaking with Tanya Haig, who is the founder of the Kids Too movement and co-founder of Parents Against Child Sex Abuse. And that's PAXA for the acronym. So, Tanya, welcome to the show.
Hi, Hilary. Thank you so much for having me.
So can you tell our listeners a little bit about your background, especially as it pertains to child safety?
Absolutely. First and foremost, I'm very findable through Google. You'll see that over the span of my 22 years, career-wise, I have a marketing and business background. So this is not meant to throw your audience for a loop. That is foundationally has been my career, but how I entered the child safety realm was really through our work launching Parents Against Child Sex Abuse in 2017, which was 5 years ago. And that nonprofit was born from an experience that my husband and I went through as parents, and where we quickly learned that so many other facets of child protection was in place, but not one that educated parents on what to look out for. And obviously for that nonprofit, the context is, predators around our children from a sexual abuse perspective. But really, Hilary, that work has opened our doors and our eyes in the work that we've been doing, that there's so much more that needs to be done in other child protection areas. And this category of online safety really started to cross into our work of child sexual abuse. And we found this intersection where, wow, more education is needed for parents. So really through experience, being a parent myself and really being active in the child protection space now as a nonprofit leader, we've really dug into a lot of the data and worked alongside experts to really inform our work and strategy.
Yeah, this is really, really important. So we're going to be talking about the Kids Too movement. Can you tell our listeners what this is, why you launched it, and why it's important?
Okay. Well, Kids Too was born from a hashtag that I had personally seen come through a little here and there while Me Too was really in its full swing several years ago. And as a marketer, I really sparked to it because I thought there is something here that's going to be really big to galvanize other folks to believe parents. So from my perspective and other leaders that I work with, we fundamentally believed, Hilary, that women needed to be believed first. Me Too needed to come first before we could really get our culture to believe children, which is one of our central tenets around the work that we do with PAXA and Kids Too. So literally in the 9 months, really getting deep with online safety issues and protecting children and empowering parents, this hashtag was one that we took to New York. We showed up at the Today Show Plaza in November.
Wow.
It got great response. We galvanized other nonprofits to help cross-promote the hashtag. We got Gretchen Carlson to support us. And in a very short amount of time, it became very clear to us that we had an opportunity here to talk to more parents, grow our audience, and grow the scope of our focus in child protection. So this is how Kids Too came to be. We've been moving pretty fast because as you know, timing and momentum is everything. So we're definitely building off of the equity of Me Too. And it's honestly been just such a beautiful thing to see. And we hope that with support like platforms like yours, we continue to get other folks in on it.
Yeah, this is really important. It's it's crazy. I mean, just me as a woman, I know that I get a lot of inappropriate messages, and I can just imagine what children get. So let's talk about how women can protect their children from this inappropriate information online. Do you have any tools or resources that can help?
Absolutely. So first, I've been in the women empowerment space for a long time. And I really believe that as women, the more informed and more courageous we become, we can do anything. And I especially like to empower, encourage moms to lean into their parenting and getting more information so they're not left in the dark, because technology moves very quickly, Hilary. It's so different from when we were coming up, right? It was just a different stage of it. And it's really easy to just be in the dark, feel intimidated about learning about the features of TikTok or YouTube. So we have created some materials through our Kids Too platform. It starts out with what we're calling our 2021 watch out list for parents. And it's not just social media platforms in there. It's gaming, it's chat apps. There's just scores of ways that predators are trying to reach our children through different features. And yes, there are definitely ways we can start shutting these down. So it starts with women and moms getting more informed and empowered. And second, really bringing our kids along on that safety journey. So I'm very actively talking, my daughter knows who her mom is. So she's a little bit ahead of the curve. She comes back and reports to me what's happening at school and what kids are doing with the different platforms. But it's, having that conversation and treating it as something that you're in on it together. The kids can be empowered to say, hey, mommy, this person came to me, or they messaged this weird question. What happens is that these predators know that kids, when they're caught off guard with an inappropriate picture or a provocative question, it's so easy for kids to automatically feel that they've done something wrong. They don't know how to process that. You and I can shut down these bots, Hilary. We can I'm constantly blocking. There's no Instagram story that I post that doesn't at least produce 3 to 5 sexual bots that I have to just make an effort to block every time. So keeping those, the kids connected and the moms looking out for our list. We also have our PAXA Pointers curriculum that is broader in scope about predatory watchouts. And there is a section on there that addresses online device and online safety, where parents can be more informed about what to look out for.
There are some parents who don't let their children go on social media. I mean, are you advocating for that, or just advocating for, to be a watchful eye, toward these predators?
Yes, I would say it's a blend. It's a blend for sure, because every age stage of a child is so different. Technically speaking, these social media apps, this has come up quite a bit in conversation, have an age rating of 13 plus.
Wow.
But we know that kids much younger are getting on these platforms. So I would say there's some definite boundaries in place in the littles and what they're getting access to. Then there's that tween zone that gets a little bit dangerous, because they're starting to Google and things come up without them wanting to see things. It's just out there through YouTube and Google at their fingertips is so dangerous. So I would say there's definitely a blend. As the kids get older, it gets harder to try to control and manage every nook and cranny and twist and turn. I would encourage everyone to just be healthy about the boundaries, know what they're doing, get in there with the blocking of the features or the chat features, or like all the controls possible, and go through the search history. Just this whole concept of kid privacy, I would rather have a parent be more protective than err on, I don't want to get into my kid's business. No, like get in your kid's business, but do it in a healthy way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% agree with you. All right. Before we move on, I have to say that I'm so appreciative of our sponsors and must take this time to thank them. Please support our sponsors and tell them that you heard about them on Hilary Topper on Air. Special thanks to the Pagalis Law Group, a law firm representing plaintiffs in medical malpractice action, and the Russo Law Group, Long Island's signature elder law, special needs, and estate planning law firm. Now back to you, Tanya. So we're talking about the Kids Too movement and resources available to women and with children who want to help protect their children. Can you give us some data about the challenges with illicit online materials and its impact on child safety?
Absolutely. And you kicked off our podcast in the strongest way possible, because that's one of my favorite data points about the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, and how through COVID and the pandemic just blew the doors open of how many incidents were reported. But I've got more good ones to share that will just make your jaw drop. So one that has been in the conversation about child exploitation has to do with porn, Hilary. So 42% of kids 16 and under have seen online porn. Porn is a big topic, and there are organizations that just dedicate all their time and energy on addressing this very issue.
Wow.
But we can go down a whole other podcast rabbit hole about this topic alone and what the impact is on children and what that does in their rewiring of their brain and their expectations of intimate relationships down the road. But just the fact that they're seeing this incredibly inappropriate material at such a young age is alarming. Another one that I'm going to share with you is that more than half of kids, over at 56%, between the ages of 11 through 16, have seen a range of inappropriate material. One is called child sexual abuse material. Another one is, illicit material in general, profanity, inappropriate language use in chat rooms, gun violence. I mean, the list spans beyond just like sexual material. It's like there's so many things that are considered inappropriate for a child's eyes that is just being exposed exponentially through all these channels, whether it's through social, just any big tech. And sometimes what's even more scary is that kids have access to their iPads at school. And even though there are some digital boundaries in place with the school district's tech programs, kids find workarounds. There are workarounds. So even if at home you might feel good about what's happening or you have a good eye, they're not with you all the time. They're at school. So trying to understand what the school's policies are and having some better understanding as a parent, I totally encourage moms to be actively engaging the principals in their school districts. And that's something that I've personally done and seen impactful. And this is part of the whole Kids Too movement, is really empowering all parents to say, we don't have to be sitting on the sidelines and watching all this unfold, or we don't have to see all of these other adults making decisions for our children. And that's where I get really passionate about, is there are a lot of executives that are leading these platforms that they themselves are parents, but then they're trying to relate to the rest of America, but they're not thinking about the parent that's the single mom or the parents juggling multiple jobs, and they don't have a lot of extra time to be these overreaching parents to monitor social media channels. So we really want all parents to have a voice and flex where they can to make sure all the corporations, all the institutions in place can do their part to protect our kids.
That's great. Let me ask you something, Tanya. So do you have any other information that you want our listeners to know about the Kids Too movement?
Yes, please. We would love to hear from you and get your support. So we have the best URL. It's kids2.org, KIDSTOO.org. Please sign up for our email newsletters to help us continue to empower you all as parents and build our community. And also, we do have a petition online that there's ways for you to get involved at your comfort level to show your activism and support. So that would be it, kids2.org.
It's awesome. Well, thank you so much for giving us this really important information and, providing some type of a forum for parents to really get involved in what's going on. And I really appreciate that. So everyone, go to Kids2, KIDSTOO.com, and sign up and be part of the movement. It is really important. So thank you again, Tanya. And I also want to thank our sponsors once more, the Pagalis Law Group, a law firm representing plaintiffs in medical malpractice. For more information on the Pagalis Law Group, go to pagalislawgroup.com, and the Russo Law Group, Long Island signature elder law, special needs and estate planning law firm. And to visit their website, go to vjrussolaw.com. And last but not least, I want to thank you, our listeners, for tuning in each week. If you want more information on this show, we will have Tanya's URL on our website, linked to her site. So you can visit us at hilarytopper.com, or you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Amazon Alexa. We're out there and you'll find us. Have a great week and we'll see you next time.